Thank you. So today we are on unit 1.2. Eric, you can just leave them there. I'll get them in a minute. Okay, unit 1.2. And on the top of this, I want you to write, you are going to be doing homework. For homework, you are going to do numbers 2 through 32 even. Okay, numbers 2 through 32 even. I know, but I'm just having you write it, just in case you forgot to write it down. But you are absolutely correct. So we are on unit 1.2, so that means in your book, we're chapter 1, lesson 2. So we are going to work on powers and exponents today. Powers and exponents. So the first set of examples, your instructions are going to tell you to write each expression. Write each expression using exponents. Okay, write each expression using exponents. So we'll let you guys get caught up and write that down for me. Write each expression using exponents. And the first one I'd like you to write for example number 1, I would like you to write x times x times x times x times another x. Write each expression using exponents. I'll give you just a minute to copy that down. Can anyone tell me what you think the definition of an exponent is? Anyone raise their hand? Tell me, what do you think is what is an exponent? Hands. What do you think an exponent is? Court, what do you think an exponent is? Okay. Fabian, did you hear what he said? Did you hear him? Okay, so Court's going to speak a little louder and the rest of you need to listen because I might be asking you for your definition. Okay, Court, say it one more time, please.
A symbol or letter in the place of a number.
A symbol or letter in the place of a number. Okay. Does anyone else have another thought? Delilah, what do you think is an exponent? What's the meaning of an exponent?
It's like a number to a certain power, or like that means you multiply it that many times, like by itself. Like let's say it's like 2 to the third power, then you can do 2 times 2 times 2, not 2 times 3.
Okay, so you're saying it's the number that tells you how many times you're multiplying something by. Is that kind of what you're saying? Okay, you are correct. You're both correct. Okay, an exponent is a number that tells you how many times you're multiplying something by. So here, how many times are you multiplying x by itself? Count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So instead of writing this out completely, you could rewrite this as x to the 5th power. Now, when you write a power, you do have to write it up a step. So you cannot write it next to it. So I don't want to see x5, but x to the 5th power. That is your answer. That is all that you are trying to do for that problem. Okay, that's your answer. Yes?
Aren't the first 3 like squared and then cubed?
Yes. If you're just writing 2 things multiplied by itself, that's called squared. And then if you're multiplying 3 of them, so if it was just these 2, we would say it was x cubed. Cubed means exponent of 2. If you had 3 of them, 3 things multiplied by themselves, does anyone know what that is called? Anissa? That's cubed. Did I say cubed for the first one? I'm sorry. I got ahead of myself. If it's multiplied 2 times, that's squared. If it's multiplied 3 times, it's cubed. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself.
Area and volume, like area and
Exactly. So area that's why an area is called a square. Okay, you would find the area of a square, and you could find the volume of a cube because it's 3-dimensional. Okay, anything past 3, there are technically words to say that, but it's not something that you're ever going to use or memorize, so I'm not going to tell you that part. Okay, so here, let's try another one. Number 2, I want you to do the exact same thing. Write each expression using exponents. If I give you in parentheses -2 times another -2 times another -2 times a 7, oops, sorry, no parentheses. So -2 times -2 times -2 times 7 times k times k. I want you to write each expression, so write that using exponents. Write that expression using exponents. Write that expression using exponents. So this one, how many different parts do you think my answer is going to have? It's going to have 3 different parts. And that's because there are 3 different kinds of things being multiplied together. So the first thing being multiplied is a -2. How many -2s are being multiplied together? 3 of them. So there is 1, 2, 3 of them. So you give it an exponent of 3. And remember, we said an exponent of 3 is called what? Cube. Okay, so you would say -2 cubed. Okay, then the next thing that's being multiplied together is a 7. Okay, so times, you can just use the multiply dot. I do not want you to use x's for multiply anymore because you're going to have problems that actually have x's in the problem. So no x's for multiplies anymore. I want you to write them as multiply dots. Then 7, how many 7s are we actually multiplying together? Just 1. So, well, there is 1, okay. But do you have to write an exponent on it? You don't have to, but technically it's an exponent of 1. You don't have to write that exponent of 1, but that is its actual exponent because you're just multiplying by itself 1 time. Multiplied by k, and how many k's are we multiplying together? Which is a 2, and what's the shortcut to saying exponent of 2? Squared, okay? So an exponent of 3 is called cubed. Okay, an exponent of 3 is called cubed, and an exponent of 2 we call squared. Okay, so exponent of 3 is called cubed, exponent of 2 is called squared. Now, the next thing I would like you to do is evaluate. We're going to ask you to evaluate each expression. Evaluate each expression. So for example number 3, I would like you to evaluate in parentheses 2/5, so 2/5 to the 3rd power. 2/5 to the 3rd power. I'm going to show you. Yeah. 2/5 to the 3rd power. So we just said that this is really what? Is it 2/5 times 3? No. This is actually what? This is 2/5 multiplied by itself, but how many times? 3 times. So you would write it out 3 times. So 3 parts of parentheses here. Then, instead of writing all of these parentheses, when you're multiplying, I think it's a little bit easier to actually just write it all as one big multiplication problem. So in the numerator, in the top, it's going to be 2 times 2 times 2. In the denominator, which is the bottom, it's 5 times 5 times 5. Now, you can actually do the multiplication. So, if you do the multiplication, what is 2 times 2 times 2? 8. Okay, does anyone else have another thought on what is 2 times 2 times 2? Multiply, not add. So you have to multiply. 2 times 2 gives you 4. Times another 2 is 8. So 8 in the numerator. Okay? Then how about 5 times 5 times 5?
125.
Tony?
125.
125. So think about it like this. 5 times 5 is what? 25. So if you need to, you can do the first two and then do the last one. So 25 times 5 gave you 125. Okay, so you can do that same thing in the top. You could first do the 4 and then multiply by the 2. Okay, any questions on how I got to 8 over 125? It's a bit of a process, yes. Okay, now eventually, actually a little bit later in this unit, we're going to start doing, not math facts, but you're going to start memorizing some of these things. Like 2 to the 3rd power is 8. Okay, we'll do them enough that you'll start memorizing them. Okay, try another one for number 4. If I would like you to evaluate -3 in parentheses to the 4th power. -3 to the 4th power. Say again. That looks complicated. Is that what you said? Oh, okay. So this one, if you write it all out, this would be -3 multiplied by itself how many times? 4. So I have to write 4 different sets of parentheses here. Now, do you just know in your head what is -3 times -3 times -3 times -3?
No.
Well, some of you might, and good for you, but for the rest of you, and for me that doesn't just automatically know it in my head, how do you do multiplication when you're going to multiply a bunch of things together? Is there like an order that you should move in, or how do you know where to start? Do I start like in the middle, or where do I start? Left to right. So you always want to go do the first two first. So -3 times -3 gives you what? Oh, negative times negative does what? It's like two negatives, they're like magnets come together to become a positive. Okay? So -3 times -3 gives you a 9. Times another -3 times another -3. So keep going left to right. So 9 times -3 gives you what? -27. And bring down your last -3. You can do it on the side of your paper if you need to. What is -27 times -3? Positive or negative? Positive 81. That's your answer. Yes, Court.
Could you just make it easier and go multiply the first two and then multiply the last two?
You can, yeah. When you're doing multiplication, you can do that. I just want you to be really careful anytime you're doing addition or subtraction, because you can't do that. Yes, Lyle.
My math teacher last year, she showed me like this trick to find out if your answer is a negative or positive. It's called the sleeping puppy, and it's like a triangle.
Uh-huh.
And then you can give it like for the eyes, it's two negative signs.
Uh-huh.
For the mouth, it's a plus sign. And then the ears are like a rectangle, and there's like a multiplication sign, division sign. And then the way you know if your answer is negative or positive, you just cover up what you have with the two negative numbers. You cover up the two negative numbers, and you're gonna have the positive sign. The positive sign, negative sign is negative. And then
You're going to have to show me that one, and then maybe we'll share with everybody else.
I always like do it in my head, like cover it up and like.
That works, okay? You'll have to show me that one. Great. I have 2 more for you guys, okay? Or for example number 5. Okay, example number 5. I have 2 more. I would like you to evaluate k to the 4th power minus m to the 2nd power. So k to the 4th minus m squared if k equals 3 and m equals 6. K to the 4th minus m squared if k equals 3 and m equals 6. So, first thing you want to do is, does anyone know the rule about whenever you plug something in? Whenever you plug it in, what do you have to do? Put it in parentheses. So, anytime you plug something in, I can't just write 3 to the 4th like that. I would like you to put it in parentheses, okay? And it will be important if you ever have any negatives. That's why we do that, okay? Minus m, I'm going to plug in a 6 to the 2nd power. So 3 to the 4th minus 6 to the 2nd. So 3 to the 4th is really 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 minus 6 times 6. What should I do first here? Do the multiplication. So I do not want to see anybody doing 3 minus 6 until you're done with all of your multiplication. Okay, does anyone know what is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3? I think we just did that, right? But it was with negatives. So, yes, 81. Minus, what is 6 times 6? 36. So 81 minus 36, you can line it up if you need to. What is 81 minus 36? 45, right. Okay, 45 is your answer. Yes. See that again?
Wait, never mind.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Last one for number 6. Again, I'd like you to evaluate a minus b in parentheses to the 4th power if a equals 8 and b equals 6. Yes. A minus b to the 4th power if a equals 8 and b equals 6. So we're just going to rewrite this. What am I plugging in for a? 8. Remember, if you plug something in, put it in parentheses. Minus, what am I plugging in for b? 6. So you've got some double parentheses here. Does it matter that this 8 and 6 are in parentheses? Nothing changes, right? So I didn't really have to write them, but I'd like you to get in the practice of writing them just in case you have negatives, because we don't want to make those mistakes. Yes, Chantal? Because I said that a was equal to 8.
Oh, that's an 8?
That's an 8. I'm sorry. You think it was a B?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
My bad. I'm sorry. My B's and my 8s kind of look alike. I apologize. So, first, what do I do in here? Do I do the exponent or do I do the subtraction? The subtraction. What is 8 minus 6? 2. So this is 2 to the 4th power, which if you write this out is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And I know you guys are almost out, so I'm going to let you go in just a second. What is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2? 16 should be your answer. Okay, you guys need to take the yellow sheets home. I'd like them brought back on Monday. Remember, you do not...
No,
Tuesday, I'm sorry. Remember, you do not